reaching new heights, breaking new ground. Follow their season from start to finish.
We did dominate that year. I mean, going out and setting all those records.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime team.
Be there as it happened. Meet after meet, records fall to these powerful girls from Frankenmuth.
Being called like the greatest track and field team in D3, like that's makes me feel like accomplished, like what I did, like was noticed.
Little Division III Frankenmuth takes out 12 Michigan Division I schools from across the state and still sets a record. Watch these girls make track and field history.
I think it's cool, like going to other track meets and hearing other coaches talk about us. And he just came up to me and he's like, I don't understand, like how do you guys do that? It's crazy.
Awarded the third highest score ever of any MHSAA state track tournament. And Frankenmuth becomes the first high school track team in Michigan history to win the Double Crown 3 times.
Because I don't think I've ever really realized what we all did.
It was incredible. Like I don't think I even like fully understand like how good we were.
It wasn't just about the individual. It was about being a part of something bigger than yourself that will last.
Witness the most dominating season ever in Michigan girls' high school track and field history. All because this team had something to prove. It was Wednesday, June 5th, 1991 when the Frankenmuth News headline read, Lady Eagles cop first FHS athletic title. The article went on to state, the state crown is the first in the school's history spanning over 35 years. The 1968 and 1969 FHS varsity football teams were excellent, but back then they were awarded mythical crowns. The Frankenmuth Lady Eagles were crowned the official 1991 Girls Class C State Track and Field champions. At that time, the Frankenmuth girls' head coach was Bruce Barber with assistant coach Diane Holmes. That team featured Coach Barber's daughter, Jenny Barber, and won the MHSAA State title with a score of 64 points versus second place Onstead with 52 points. Jenny Barber finished first in the 3,200-meter relay, running in the anchor position, second place in the 1,600-meter run, third place in the 800-meter run, and second place in the 3,200-meter run. It would be 18 long years before the Frankenmuth girls track and field team again claimed an MHSAA state title. The Frankenmuth girls' climb to the coveted Double Crown began in 2007 with a runner-up finish at the D3 MITCA Team State Tournament and a 9th place finish at the D3 MHSAA State Finals. Followed in 2008 with another runner-up finish at D3 MITCA Team State while moving up to a 3rd place finish at the D3 MHSAA State Finals, setting the stage for their first Double Crown dual title finish in 2009. It actually happened at the close of the 2009 Michigan track and field season that the Frankenmuth girls claimed Michigan high school track and field's first ever Double Crown in Division III, winning both the MITCA Team State title and the MHSAA State title in the same season. The first Division III girls team ever to do so. The 2010 season followed, and lightning indeed struck twice in Frankenmuth as the Lady Eagles became the only girls' high school track and field team in any division in Michigan history to repeat consecutively as Double Crown winners. Again, winning both the MITCA Team State title and the MHSAA State title in the same season 2 years in a row. The 2011 track and field season saw the Frankenmuth Lady Eagles finish 3rd at MITCA Team State, and by a single point, come in 2nd place at MHSAA State Finals. By any measure, another great season. The Frankenmuth girls' 2012 season began with an all-new girls track and field coaching staff, featuring new girls head coach Mike Snyder and assistant coach Rob Hayes, in their very first season coaching the now legendary Frankenmuth team.
I know they won 2 state championships before I got there. 2011, I think, I was runner-up at the state finals by 1 point, I believe. The year before, I think they were state champions, and I think they also won MITCA that year. So that's as high as you can go, as far as the state of Michigan goes. Walking into a program like that with some of those girls coming back was a challenge to at least, when you take a new job on, you're always worried about what are they going to think? Are they going to think that I'm up for the job, ready for them? Are they going to be good enough for them? But I just did what I did, and it seemed to work.
In the end, the Frankenmuth girls closed out an exceptional 2012 season with yet another trip to the MHSAA State title podium. Only 1 week after a strong second-place runner-up finish to Benzie Central at MITCA Team State. 2012 also saw the remaining members of the 2009-2010 back-to-back Double Crown champion teams graduate. The year was 2013. In the USA, summer had only just arrived in the state of Michigan. The Michigan High School outdoor track and field season had just ended for the 2013 year. The MHSAA State Track and Field Tournament, the last team event of the season, had just wrapped up. In the girls' Division III, the defending state champion Frankenmuth Lady Eagles was the favorite going in. After all, the Frankenmuth girls only a week earlier had won the MITCA Team State title. However, the girls officially finished up their 2013 season with a very disappointing fourth-place finish at MHSAA Division III State Finals. The girls' D3 MHSAA Finals were instead won by the outstanding team from Pewamo, Westphalia. The MHSAA, Michigan High School Athletic Association, recognizes 4 divisions in track and field, known as Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each is based on school enrollment for that year. Division 1, or D1, is for the largest schools, and Division 4, or D4, is for the smallest schools. This is to provide for a level playing field within each of those divisions. In the days after the MHSAA State Finals meet, the Frankenmuth girls were met by a lot of questions from their families, friends, schoolmates, and the community, but especially from themselves.
A lot of things just happened that day that don't normally happen when you're talking about the Frankenmuth track team. I think we're a little intimidated. We came in there and we were the reigning champions, and people were looking out for us, and I don't think we were watching our backs enough.
It was disappointing when we ended up 4th, did we end up? And you could tell everybody was disappointed. You could tell the community, you got home and everybody was like, you guys ended up in 4th? Weren't you supposed to come out in 1st? And it's just, after that season, it did motivate me to do better next season. Seeing everybody disappointed, it's not something I'm used to too. And so, it's not a good feeling.
All had hoped, and to a certain extent expected, that again, given a good team performance, the MHSAA State title would remain in Frankenmuth for the second consecutive year. Their expectations seemed reasonable. Earlier in the 2013 season, the Frankenmuth girls participated in their first ever Bay City Western Invitational, a meet dominated by the 11 Division I teams. The Frankenmuth girls turned in a surprising second-place finish among the 16-team field. The meet was won by the Division I Granville team. Since 2009, annual MHSAA state titles had become a Frankenmuth girls track and field tradition, and the members of the 2013 team expected to continue that tradition. As the team's 2014 outdoor track and field season approached, the team, and especially the seniors, were full of determination that they had something to prove.
That could be a title for the documentary, Something to Prove.
And for the seniors, the 2014 season would be their last remaining chance to make their mark. In order for results to improve substantially for the 2014 season, it's critical that early season performances be similar to the marks achieved at the end of 2013. During the long Michigan winter months, following the end of the cross-country season, there is the MITS, or Michigan Indoor Track Series. What is MITS? MITS is a group of volunteers whose main purpose is to host an indoor state championship for high school track and to promote the sport here in Michigan during the winter months. Athletes compete as individuals or as club teams and are not recognized by divisions, nor are they identified with their schools. They wear no uniforms, only workout clothing at the meets. Colleges and universities around the state host meets that are used as qualifying events for the MITS state meet. MITS participation can be crucial for athletes to monitor and improve their conditioning and preparation through the winter months when organized practices are forbidden by MHSAA rules. For 2014, MHSAA rules allow practices for spring sports to begin in early March for the 17 track and field events. With the first meet scheduled for April 9th, that's nowhere near enough time to get each athlete into condition, much less improve over the previous year's marks.
But coming up into our first part of the season, we have like 4 weeks before our first meet, and that's really not a long time to get in shape or get ready to do track, 17 events.
Therefore, success depends on the high degree of motivation of the coaching staff and team members willing to do whatever it takes during the off-season. This is the moment when senior leadership shapes the team's attitude the most. Practices are cold, wet, and dreary in the early part of the season, and quite often the practice area is covered in snow. The coaches have their hands full orienting freshman team members and preparing practices and workouts, so the seniors are needed to take up the slack in every area and to motivate fellow team members as well as each other through the harsh conditions.
But coming into that, we had a couple girls that were already going to be out. Larry Hammond was going to be out because of an injury, and Emily Sievert was going to be out because she found out she was having a hard time in the winter, but she found out she had mono. She normally would be one of our top distance runners in the 1600 and the 3200, and then the 4x8 relay. Because she couldn't run those, that was going to affect our team greatly, because it's hard to get in a small team, hard to get 4 runners that can run an 800 in decent time to get a 4x8 going. Carly, she was an indoor practice. We wanted to try her in the 300 hurdle. She wanted to try it, actually. And unfortunately, what happened in one of her practice sessions, she came down with her heel on the top of the hurdle, and I think it was bruised pretty bad. That hurt us because she was not going to be our top 800 runner, along with Emily with the 4x8. So we had a couple big runners that were not going to be part of our team right away. With 2 out, hoping they're going to come back by mid-season, that's all we can hope for at this point.
Once the season begins and the competitions have begun, the results of the off-season preparations will show almost immediately. So the question on everyone's mind is, can the 2014 team pick up where it left off at the end of the 2013 season?
First meet that we go to is a Tri-Valley Conference crossover, we call it, because it's not part of our league, but it's still part of the Tri-Valley Conference. St. Louis and Chesney and Frankenmuth, so it's a tri-meet, 3 schools. The kids need some competition, and that's why we go to this first meet. It's not to look at the win or anything like that. It was just to get the kids in the events that they're going to try, see how they do, get some benchmarks set so they can improve from there. The way we plan our season is we look at our championship season first, which includes our MHSAA Michigan High School Athletic Association meet, which is our final meet of the year. And then our MITCA, our Michigan Interscholastic Track Coach Association meet, which is our team state. Track and field has 2 state meets at the end of the season. And then we look at regionals. So looking at those 3 major meets, we work back from that as far as how our workouts are going to come. Where do we want to put the girls in which events to see how they're going to end up in those meets at the end of the year? We go from there. And the first part of the season is for our upper class ladies, like our juniors and seniors. We've seen them run before. We know what they can do. They're getting their benchmark to say, okay, how did I start out this year compared to how I ended last year? So that's why we use this meet. For our newer runners, freshmen and sophomores, it's basically saying, where do I fit into this team? especially this team, which is we know is going to be a good team after we saw the results of this meet. Many personal records were set at this very first meet of the season. A lot of the girls were very close to making the mark where they ended last season, and they're starting this season with them, which is what Coach Hayes and I look forward to every year. So this was a good year to say this is going to be a good team.
A week later, on Wednesday, April 16, 2014, the Frankenmuth track and field teams traveled to Caro, Michigan for their second meet of the season. This dual meet features Caro and Frankenmuth and is the first of 3 TVC East League meets of 2014. Here's Coach Snyder to explain the significance of this first TVC East meet.
This first TVC East meet was our first one that was part of our actual league. We determined league championship is close to the end of the season, and we have 3 TVC East meets, like dual meets or tri-meets with other schools within our league. And whoever wins each one of those gets so many points toward that league championship. And then at the end, near the end of the season, the whole TVC East League comes together for one big meet, and the winner of that one gets so many points also, and together they add all up, and that determines the championship of the league, actually. And since the TVC East has been followed and there's history behind it, Frankenmuth has always won it.
The coaching staff, along with Angie, Ritter, made a decision at this second meet of the 2014 season that will have far-reaching implications for not only the Frankenmuth girls, but for Michigan track and field history and beyond.
Angie Ritter, that was her meet that she tried the 100 because she wanted to get her sister Kelsey's record, her school record. So Angie, that was the first time she ran the 100 for us this year, and the result of that, she's going to run it some more. Because she won. She won big time. She was really close to Kelsey's record.
For Frankenmuth, the results of the season's second meet, the first league meet of the 2014 season, are impressive. The girls win by a large margin as attention turns to the very next day on the calendar, the annual Marcet Invitational hosted by Frankenmuth, with an impressive list of schools entered this year. Less than 24 hours after their first TVC East League meet of the season, the Frankenmuth girls faced their first big challenge of 2014. Frankenmuth's home meet, the annual Marcet Invitational, featuring 6 of the area's top Division I teams as well as Pewamo, Westphalia, the defending Division III MHSAA State champions.
This was a unique situation because what happened here this week was we had our TVC East meet with Caro, and then the next day we had our home invitational, which we have a lot of Division I, Division II schools come. That was a big meet that we wanted to be fairly fresh for because we wanted to see where our girls stood against Pewamo, Westphalia, plus all the other Division I and II schools that are coming. That's the main reason we go to invitationals, because of the competition is much wider. We have some heavy hitters that come to the meet, and that's why we invite them. We had 6 Division I schools come. Places like Saginaw Heritage, Bay City Western, Bay City Central, Midland, Dow, Flushing, Mount Pleasant. Those are schools that you hear about all the time. And in 2014, that's exactly what our team needed. They needed to be pushed, and they needed to understand that they can compete with girls that are from Division I schools that go against girls at their level all the time, every day. And they came through. Seeing that Pewamo, Westphalia captured the meet with 102 points, and we were at 90 points, second place. To Coach Hayes and I, we felt pretty good because we had two of our top runners, Carly and Emily, that didn't compete because they were still hurt or sick. Plus our 4x2 relay team, only time it happened was disqualified because of a false start. We were seeded first at that meet, so that was 10 points. I'm sure we would have took the 10 points there. And when they knew that we would have got 10 points, they would have just got 8 instead. That would have tied us. But then with Emily and Carly, if they were in the mix, we would have won that meet, on top of the Division I schools that were there still.
Additionally, Frankenmuth's Angie Ritter reached a major milestone at this meet, only the team's third meet of the young 2014 season.
Angie, at this point in the season, already qualified and met the state standards in the 100, the 200, the 400, the 4x2 relay, the 4x4 relay, and the high jump. So it's basically whatever event we put Angie in, she's just that type of athlete.
Here I go again, believing real things happen. Skinny when you think I won't make it past pretend, don't question it. Here I go again. Not making excuses. I'm standing tall and living loud. Getting to know what's out there. Bracing myself on a dare, no doubt.
Okay, a week after the Marcet meet, we had another home meet, and it was our TVC East meet with LakeVille and Birch Run. It's our second Tri-Valley Conference East meet that goes toward our league championship. This is a little bit different meet because there's 3 schools involved, but we score against each school. For example, Frankenmuth and LakeVille against Frankenmuth and Birch Run, and Birch Run against LakeVille. They're called dual meets. We run against LakeVille separately as far as points go, and we run against Birch Run separately, and then LakeVille and Birch Run are scored against each other. So that's how the tri-meets are scored in like a TVC conference. The girls, as a team, set over 50 personal records this meet. And that's exactly what Coach Hayes and I were looking for to say, where are we going? One of those examples is Stephanie Lambeth, our pole vaulter. She's one of the hardest workers we have on the team. Her outside of track life is very busy. She's a gymnast. She does that in her spare time, I'll call it, but it's really full time. Stephanie, our best pole vaulter, actually broke the school record that she tied last year at 10 foot. At this meet, she went 10.6, and 6 more inches over the school record in pole vault is awesome. Looking at Stephanie and her work ethic, she has a coach that she works with, I think one of the best pole vault coaches in Michigan. She sought him out. She drives probably 1 hour one way just to go work with him. And Stephanie also works with Coach Drake, our boys coach. We share events, boys and girls, as we specialize in each one, and Coach Drake's helped her with the pole vault also. This isn't the only time she's going to set the school record, we know that. Another thing that Coach Hayes and I were really happy with is Larry Hammond was back. Carly did very well in the 800. She won the 800 on that meet with a respectable time for where she was coming into the season. Carly's such a well-rounded athlete that she's going to help us in the 4x4, the 800, the 4x8, whatever event she is, mid-distance wise. To help understand how dominant our 2014 team was within our league, and our league is strong, Frankenmuth had 98 points to LakeVille's 39, and Frankenmuth 102, and Birch Run 34 points. That point spread is a very big deal, especially when the other teams are fairly strong in themselves.
It's my moment, every moment. You can always count me in. My forever is right now, and I'm not ever giving in.
Welcome to the Clare Invitational, held at the Brookwood Athletic Facility in Clare, Michigan. This year consisting of 16 Division II, III, and IV teams from across the state of Michigan.
Honestly, haven't been pushed a lot overall as a whole team, and we think meets like Clare and the teams that go to Clare, I think there's 16 teams in this meet. They're going to bring some competition to our girls, and that's exactly what they need at this point in the season. And it's going to be a good checkpoint with our Division III type school, because there's a lot of Division III schools there, which is what we need to see.
There is an amazing transformation taking place with this team. Across the sport of track and field, it's rare for a team to develop a team identity where the individual athletes begin to morph into a single entity as a team. But as the season progresses, we are watching it happen right before our eyes. It is a sense of belonging to something bigger than the individual members of the group. They seem to be going beyond the need to simply defeat the competition or to just winning the meet. They are focusing instead on bettering themselves as athletes while having the maturity to understand that their only genuine competition exists within their own expectations. This change is visible at team and individual practices and all the way through the track meets. And as the season progresses, it continues to gain momentum. Pushing the envelope, setting a higher bar, and breaking records is becoming a higher priority than winning to this team.
One of the records that were set at this meet was a 100-meter hurdle record by Sydney Bronner. She ran a very good race, and that was the first indication that we knew that she was on her way to breaking the school record of Emily Wee, who was a runner at University of Michigan.
Of the 3 meet records broken today by the Frankenmuth girls, 2 were relays. The girls made history by setting new Clare Invitational records in both the 4x100 meter and 4x200 meter relays.
For the 4x1, 4x2, they're really starting to gel together, and that's where 2 of the invitational records were set in those 2 relays. Our relays are very important, especially in the MHSAA and the MITCA team state meets. One of the things that we said, this was a surprise to us. They won the meet by big margin, and they set 3 invitational records, 4x1, 4x2, and the 100-meter hurdles.
It's Wednesday, April 30th, 2014, and the Frankenmuth teams have traveled to Essexville Garber High School for another TVC East League meet, featuring Garber, Frankenmuth, and Millington.
Our next meet was TVC East meet with Garber and Millington, and it's another one of those meets that we use for determining the league championship. Garber came a little bit closer than what we thought. Garber's a Division II school, but still within our conference. And as Frankenmuth being Division III, they were within 22 points of us. Some of the things that we wanted to focus on this meet was getting Angie into the 4x1 relay. Sarah Buell, our number 2 sprinter behind Angie, was hurt. She was having tight quad muscles, and we needed to rest her because we needed her at the end of the year. She'd be a number 1 sprinter in most any other team in the area. But because Angie's on our team, they're a number 1 and number 2 punch. Sarah took a break on this 4x1, put Angie in. She was going to probably run this meet and maybe one other meet to see if they could break a 38-year-old school record in the 4x1. One of the other things we wanted to see in this meet was how Carly was doing. She was coming off that heel injury, so we put her in the open 400 just to see what her time was coming into, and she ended up being one of the fastest girls on the team, just right behind Angie. Carly also ran the 800 that meet. Coach Hayes and I think that Carly's on her way back, and she's going to get back on that team for the 4x4. Another bright spot for Coach Hayes and I was that Emily Siebert was back. We're midway through the season. We know Emily's primary goal this season is to qualify for the MHSAA State Finals at the end of the year. She wanted to qualify in the 3,200 meters. We put her in the 1,600 meters just to see where she was at. She came through with just 7 seconds away from her personal record. So we knew that Emily was back with a vengeance, and she was going to continue because her work ethic is so strong. It's awesome to see girls like that, and a lot of the girls on our team are just like Emily. They're working hard for a goal at the end of the season. One of the examples of true team that we see is when Emily first came back, which was this race, the 1,600. She was running 4 laps around the track. All the girls were up screaming for Emily to keep on going. It was showing how excited they were for Emily to be back because they knew that she was back. That inspiration just carried through the rest of the season. Our Our next big meet, we consider it one of the bigger meets of our season, getting ready for the MHSAA State Finals, was the Bay City Western Invitational. It's the second year that we've been invited to it. Last year, 2013, we entered it thinking that if we could place in the middle of these 12 Division I schools and 3 Division II schools, that we'd be doing awesome. Last year, we were runner-up.
The 2014 edition of the Bay City Western Invitational was top-loaded, with 12 Division I teams eager to test themselves against other D1 teams from as far north as Alpena, and as far west as Grand Rapids, and as far south as the Detroit metro area.
They draw schools from all over the state, from as far north as Traverse City to as far south as, southern Detroit. It's a big area, a lot of big schools, 12 Division I schools in this meet. We're Division III school coming in just to have the competition. Our girls needed that this year. They just need the competition that comes from these big schools.
The Frankenmuth girls were indeed facing a David and Goliath matchup. And for a team that was determined to not only win against all odds, but to set new records, this was going to be their biggest challenge so far.
Our team set 2 invitational records, which our Sydney Bronner ran the 100 hurdles in 15.6, and that set an invitational record. One of the records that were set at the Bay City Western Invitational was a 4x2 relay, and that was led off by Sydney Bronner, handed off to Katie Palmreiter, who handed off to Lauren Woodard, who was actually filling in for Sarah Bula, who was injured and was sitting out so she could get better for regionals. And then Lauren handed off to Angie Ritter. And I think it struck that the 2014 team was truly a special team, especially when you have people like Lauren Woodard who could fill in for our second fastest sprinter on the team after Angie, and they could still pull that off. We have a deep team. That's a great feeling.
There were some really good Division I and II teams there. That was when I just realized that this is really unique, and this might not come around for 50 years.
Even winning that meet with all those schools there, it was like, honestly, it was, are we really here? Did we just really win this meet? With that so many big names there.
Standing here in the now, just thinking of how we've come so far to be where we are. And from today till the end, we try to figure out when we will really leave our mark.
Our next meet was Wednesday, May 7th, and that was the last of our TVC meets. It was with Bridgeport and North Branch at home, so it was at Frankenmuth. We're more than halfway through the season now, getting ready for championship season.
Today, the weather here in Frankenmuth is miserable. It's very cold, very windy with the constant threat of rain. Assistant coach Rob Hayes talks about the Frankenmuth girls team's attitude about the weather.
We had some freshmen who were essentially complaining about the weather and how they didn't want to run that day. And Carly, who had been with me for 3 full years, knew what I felt. I said, we do not talk about the weather. That is for other teams to worry about. And Carly just looked at me and she just immediately pulled those 2 freshmen aside and she said, we do not talk about the weather in Frankenmuth. That is for other teams to talk about. We go out and win. And she walked away. And those girls never complained about the weather again. I think it was more effective being delivered by a senior runner than it would have been coming from me.
Part of this meet, we're doing some things that we wanted to do, get people ready, like Carly, getting her ready for a good 800 because that's her top event. Put her in the 200 to get some points in the 200 because Sarah's not in there, but that's going to help her with her speed. The 400, she's our second fastest runner on the team for the 400 right now, and the 4x4. She's back on the 4x4 because she earned that spot back. And then, of course, her 800 that she's in. So she's in 4 events, too. And also leading up to MITCA, also where we're going to load her up.
Senior Sarah Richardson from Bridgeport is running in today's meet. Sarah is Angie Ritter's top rival in the state in both the 200 and 400 meter runs.
Sierra Richardson from Bridgeport. She's a senior, and so is Angie. They're always battling out every meet they go to. Sierra beat Angie by 6/100ths of a second this meet. So Angie, the first time she lost this year in the 200, I think that's probably going to be the last time she wants to lose in the 200 this year, especially when she meets back up with Sierra in the MHSAA State Finals. Coach Hayes and I liked the results of this meet because the girls won 12 of the 17 events.
Not making excuses. I'm standing tall and living loud. Getting to know what's out there. Racing myself on a dare, no doubt.
It's Friday, May 9th, 2014, and we're in Bad Axe, Michigan with the Frankenmuth High School track and field teams to compete in the Hatchet Invitational.
The main reason we go to Bad Axe is because the next week we're going to be there for the regional meet. So we wanted to take our kids there to be at that site, just to be ready for it. There's 18 teams at this meet, mini Division III, which is what we're competing in, and it's going to be another benchmark to say how we're doing. Stephanie was incredible in this meet. Because of the rain and everything else, for pole vaulters, that's hard to even grasp a pole, but she went 11 foot at this meet. That broke the school record that she set previously, and it also broke the meet record at Bad Axe. At this meet, she was the second highest vault of the day, including the boys. And that's why people come and watch her. She's an incredible jumper.
With the regional meet only a week away, the Frankenmuth girls were determined to make one more attempt at a 38-year-old school relay record. So Angie Ritter traded places with Stephanie Lambeth today, with Stephanie taking Angie's place in the 100-meter sprint and Angie taking Stephanie's place in the 4x100-meter relay for one final attempt at the 38-year-old record.
The challenge with Stephanie is she's pole vaulting at the same time. So she had to go back and forth between prelims, which she had to run the 100 in the prelims, which she did, and she qualified for the finals. So she had to go from that back to pole vault, back to the finals. Then she went back to the pole vault and did her school record. One of the things the girls are starting to do this year is starting to look at school records, meet records, state records to see how they fit in there. The relay teams play an important role in meets. Our 4x2 is one of the strongest in the states, actually. They haven't lost at all yet this year. In 2012, the last time the FHS girls won MHSAA State Championship, they actually had the record here for the meet. And that included Sydney, who's on the current team, Angie, who's on the current team, Emily Wee, who went and is running at U of M, and Olivia Shelton, who was running at CMU. So it was a good relay team back then, and that's the record that they broke today. Now they're only less than 1 second away from the school record too. The next event, much anticipated 4x1 relay. We were gonna have Angie run this race because the team wanted to have the 4 fastest runners on our team run that and see if they could break a 38-year-old school record. As the record that was set in 1976 of 50.6, and it was converted from yards to metrics because that's how old it was. They were excited about this. Stephanie, who has been running the 4x1, is doing a really good job on it. She understands she's like the 5th fastest sprinter on our team, which is saying a lot when you have an Angie and a Sarah running. When this race started, pretty much everyone stopped from the Frankenmuth tent because they knew what was going on, and they all got along the fence and started watching the 4x1. I was up in the stands with a video camera and my stopwatch just to see how they were going to do because I think they were going to do it. The gun was up for the 4x1 and Becca was in the blocks. Gun went off. She had a great start. Her first 100, she was holding her own, coming around that first curve, coming right up to Katie. She gets down like she's in starting blocks too, and puts her hand back. Becca hit the mark. Katie was off. It was exciting because we were right there. 4x100 races, just one lap around the track, and it's so fast. The handoff between Sarah and Angie, everyone was going crazy. You could hear the crowd, you could hear our team. I couldn't really take pictures anymore. When Angie got the baton, she just took off. No one was going to catch her, and she was just making that gap wider. When she crossed the line, I had a hand time of 49 some seconds, and the record was 50.6. But we know hand time's a little bit slower than when you do fully automatic timing, which they had at Bad Axe. So now we had to wait. We didn't know if they got the record or not. We think they probably did. So when the girls started coming off the track, we said, we had hand time 49, so that got them excited. They started announcing the 4x1 results. Second place, 52 seconds. Did Angie win by 30 meters? Because that's what she had to do to get 3 seconds off. And then when they announced the 49.57, the girls went crazy. We went crazy. That was a 38-year record they just broke. That was very inspirational. That kind of was another thing that fired up the team to keep moving on. Now that the meet was called off because of the weather, the girls were so excited that they won the meet. They stuck around to get their trophy because they knew that it was a big meet, getting ready for the regionals, which were next week. The girls are pumped and ready to go.
Every moment you can always count me in. My forever is right now, and I'm
On Wednesday, May 13, 2014, the Frankenmuth Track and Field teams are traveling to Nouvel Catholic Central in Saginaw to compete in a quad meet.
The next meet on our schedule is the Nouvel quad meet. Nouvel's there, Bullock Creek is there, and Michigan Lutheran Seminary are the teams that Frankenmuth competes against there. So tune up some things, getting ready for regionals.
Stephanie Lambeth once again grabs the spotlight, twice. She first reaches 11 feet 4 inches in the pole vault to break her own school record of 11 feet set the week before. Then breaks her own record again with a vault of 11 feet 6 inches for another new all-time Frankenmuth Girls pole vault school record. Stephanie also wins the long jump and is a member of Frankenmuth's first place 4x100 meter relay squad. Junior Sydney Bronner leads the Frankenmuth Lady Eagles with 4 first-place finishes. Sydney wins the 100-meter hurdles in a personal record time of 15.34 seconds, just 0.02 of a second from the school record, which Emily Wee set in 2012. Additionally, Sydney finishes first in the 300-meter hurdles, the 4x200-meter relay, and the high jump. Junior Sarah Beulah wins the 200-meter sprint and is second in the 100-meter sprint to winner Angie Ritter. Additionally, Sarah is a member of the first-place 4x100 and 4x200-meter relay squads. Sarah could easily be the top sprinter on many other teams in Michigan. Larry Hammond adds a win in the 800 meters, along with again being the leadoff runner for Frankenmuth's winning 4x400-meter relay squad. Carly also sets a personal record in the 200-meter sprint. She has been running some sprint races to build some muscle mass, hoping to improve her 800 and 400-meter times. Junior thrower Sarah Jansen wins the shot put with a toss of 33 feet 8.5 inches, close to her personal best. Additionally, sophomore Carrie Fromm brings home another first place in the discus with a personal record toss of 111 feet 11 inches, a foot over her previous best.
The girls won 15 out of 17 of the events, first place. We set one school record in the pole vault. Stephanie did. They did really well.
Next, the championship series begins with regionals, and these Frankenmuth ladies are on a mission. Every member of the team is exceeding expectations week after week. They indeed have something to prove. The 2014 championship series has arrived. Beginning with regionals on Saturday, May 17th in Bad Axe. The regional meet is the gateway to the MHSAA State Tournament, the only way in. Followed on Wednesday, May 21st with the TVC East League Championships. Then 3 days later, Saturday, May 24th, the MITCA Team State Tournament. Then 3 days following that, on Tuesday, May 24th, the Thumb Meet of Champions, then wrapping up the season on Saturday, May 31st with the big show, the MHSAA Division III State Finals. And this year, this team has something to prove.
We're coming up to the regional meet in Michigan, and that's one of the most important meets of the year because that's how, in that one meet, is how you qualify for the MHSAA State Finals. You have to qualify as individuals, and those individuals make up that team when they get to the MHSAA State Finals. But it's exciting, we're nervous because the regionals are, I'm gonna say, like the Olympic trials. You get one chance. You go to the regionals, you do well, you can get into the MHSAA State Finals. You go to the regionals, you're off that one, you missed your chance. So we're excited, we're nervous, but we're pumped for the girls because we know that they're ready.
So I got in line, I was all mad, and I just jumped. I fell into the sand and sat off on the side, and I was like waiting for them to tell me that I jumped like 12 feet or something, and they told me that I jumped like 15.9½, so like a half a foot over of what I had to get to make it to state. At that moment, I was just so happy that I did something by myself, and I made it for state.
bit. New PR. Come on, Charlie.
Your 2014 regional champions, the Frankenmuth Lady Eagles. Frankenmuth's 2014 MHSAA State Finals qualifiers are 100-meter hurdles Sydney Bronner, 100-meter sprint Angie Ritter and Sarah Beulah, the 4x200 relay squat, and the 4x100 relay squat, 300-meter hurdles Sydney Bronner, 800-meter run Larry Hammond, 200-meter sprint Angie Ritter and Sarah Beulah, 3,200-meter run Emily Sievert, the 4x400 relay squat, long jump Stephanie Lambeth and Katie Pomeroyder, high jump Sydney Bronner, Pole vault, Stephanie Lambeth. Shot put, Carrie Fromm and Sarah Jansen. And discus, Carrie Fromm. The second meet of the championship series, the final appearance of the seniors on their home track. The Tri-Valley Conference, TVC East, Track and Field Championship.
It was a league championship meet. All the TVC East teams were in it. Frankenmuth, Garber, Caro, North Branch, Lakeville, Bridgeport, Birch, Millington. The good meet to prep for the MITCA team state, which was coming up next.
Katie!
We're pretty impressive still. I mean, we won by 62 points. You know, we had 187. Garber was next, which is a Division II school, by the way, with 125. One of the records that were broken was the 800. Carly got the record for the 800 meters. Sydney also got a TVC record that day in the high jump. Again, we had 2 girls setting TVC records. So the records are still coming. We won 12 of 17 first places, so that's pretty dominant. And again, our TVC East is not a weak conference. It's just the dominance of our team this year.
Welcome to the 2014 MITCA Team State Championship. This meet is the first of the 2 Double Crown Track and Field State tournaments. It's Saturday, May 24th, 2014, and we're in Kent City, Michigan for the 3rd of the 5 championship meets marking the grand finale of the 2014 season. Before the opening ceremonies get underway, some field events take place along with the 4x800 meter relay. We begin with the high jump event featuring Stephanie Lambeth, Sydney Bronner, and Emily Jansen. Each team is allowed 3 athletes per event, except for the relays, and every athlete scores, making this meet unique because in other meets only the top 8 scores count. Results for the high jump are Sydney Bronner 1st, Emily Jansen 6th, and Stephanie Lambeth 18th. Frankenmuth's 4x800 meter squad is led off today by freshman Carissa Schur in the first of 2 events for Carissa.
This team, 2014, has a chance to do some very spectacular things. For example, they'd be the first team in the history of MHSAA and MITCA to win the Double Crown 3 times. So they have some goals. Win MITCA at this meet and win the MHSAA a week following, and they're going to be part of history again.
Following Carissa Schur is sophomore Mackenzie Walter in her first of 4 events today. Mackenzie hands off to freshman Autumn Gintner in the first of her 2 events. After her 2 laps, Autumn hands off to senior Larry Hammond, who is running her first of 4 events today at MITCA Team State Finals. Usually, Frankenmuth doesn't field a 4x800 meter relay team, but here at MITCA, every opportunity to earn points is crucial on the way to earning a victory, and the team has been training for this all season, with the goal of once again reaching the coveted MITCA Team State crown. The 4x800 meter relay squad earns an 8th place finish today at MITCA Team State.
And now let's welcome the athletes who are here today. On the girls' side, welcome Frankenmuth Eagles under head coach Mike Snyder.
Oh, man.
Clare Invitational champions, Bay City Western Invitational champions, Hatchet Invitational champions, Regional champions, Tri-Valley Conference East Division champions, 10 athletes going to the state finals in 14 different events. Welcome, Frankenmuth.
Next up is the 100-meter hurdles featuring Megan Eyrig, Sarah Aldrich, and Sydney Bronner.
Another thing about the MITCA meets, they keep state records, so kids have something to shoot for if they want to be on the record board, and our kids love to shoot for those records. The thing about this meet, too, is even though there's a lot of runners, 30 participants in each event, there's no prelims or semifinals. It's all based on your best effort. It's just all finals. Fastest person, doesn't matter if you're in Heat 1 or Heat 6, you're going to get the points that you deserve based on your results.
Freshmen Megan Ehrig and Sarah Aldrich have been running the 100-meter hurdles all season for Frankenmuth, although Sarah is a relative newcomer with only 3 previous appearances in the event this season. Just as junior Sydney Bronner followed in the footsteps of Frankenmuth's All-State hurdler Emily Wee, who graduated in 2012 and now runs for the University of Michigan. Megan and Sarah are fortunate to have Sydney Bronner as an example to learn from. Sydney has her sights set on Emily Wee's records and making her mark at this year's MHSAA State tournament next weekend. The 100-meter hurdles results are Sydney Bronner first, Megan Ehrig 15th, and Sarah Aldrich 23rd. Representing Frankenmuth in the 100-meter run today are seniors Angie Ritter and Rebecca Barger and junior Sarah Beulah. The coaches moved Angie from the 400 meters to the 100 meters at the start of the season because she wanted a crack at her sister Kelsey's records in the event. Immediately, Angie dominated the event, setting numerous meet records. That has to be one of the best coaching moves ever. And Sarah is right behind her, with Rebecca right behind Sarah, an amazing trio in the 100 meters for Frankenmuth. True to form, Angie sets a MITCA team state record in first place with Sarah 3rd and Rebecca 7th. Frankenmuth's 4x200-meter relay features junior Sydney Bronner, senior KD Pomreuter, junior Sarah Beulah, and senior Angie Ritter. Undefeated so far in 2014, including beating all 12 Division I and both Division II schools at the Bay City Western Invitational, where they set a new meet record. This group has been setting meet records at almost every appearance. The crowd here has been eagerly anticipating their appearance here today. Lately, there are track coaches and fans who travel sometimes hundreds of miles to get a look at the Frankenmuth team's amazing performances both here at the track and over at the pole vault event. Not to disappoint, the team wins first place with a new MITCA team state record. Frankenmuth's 1,600-meter team at MITCA consists of sophomores Mackenzie Walter and Kylie Ostrovsky and freshman Autumn Gittner. This is Kinsey's second of her 4 events today. Autumn's second and final event of the MITCA tournament and Kylie's first and only appearance at MITCA. Kylie's efforts earned her a personal record in the 1,600 meters today. None of these girls qualified for the MHSAA State tournament next week, so it is fitting that they have the opportunity to represent their team at MITCA for the chance to earn a state title. Autumn finishes in 17th place, Mackenzie in 24th, and Kylie in 27th place. Relays are very strong events for Frankenmuth. Their 4x100-meter relay team, featuring seniors Rebecca Barger and KD Pomreuter, followed by juniors Stephanie Lambeth and Sarah Beulah, has also set some meet records this season. This is Rebecca's 3rd of her 4 events at MITCA, KD's 3rd event of her 4, Stephanie's only running event of 4 events she's in at MITCA, including the high jump, the long jump, and Stephanie's premier event, the pole vault. This is Sarah Beulah's last of 4 events she appears in, and she anchors Frankenmuth's 4x100-meter relay. And boom, just like that, another record falls for Frankenmuth's Lady Eagles today at MITCA Team State. Next up is the 400-meter run. Frankenmuth will not be represented in the 400 next week at MHSAA State Finals, since Angie Ritter was moved to the 100 meters. Junior Bailey Elnick has run the 400 only a couple of times last year in her first season of track, but is stepping up to help her team in her only event today. Freshman Brianna Mayo is brand new to the 400 this year, her only event today. Brianna has made 3 appearances in the event so far this season. Although not her main event, senior Larry Hammond has been training in the 400 to reduce her 4x400 relay times and 800-meter times while coming back from her preseason injury. On the Frankenmuth team, only Angie Ritter is faster in the 400. This is Carly's 2nd of 4 events she's running at MITCA. Carly earns a 6th place finish while setting a personal record, with Bailey finishing 22nd and Brianna finishing 25th. The next event is the 300-meter hurdles, featuring freshman Sarah Aldrich and Megan Ehrig and junior Sydney Bronner. All 3 Lady Eagles previously ran the 100-meter hurdles earlier at today's MITCA tournament. For Megan, this is her 2nd of 3 events, appearing also in the pole vault. Megan has been running the 300-meter hurdles all season. For Sarah, this is her 2nd of 2 events, and her last event of the day. Sarah has only run the 300-meter hurdles in 4 meets this season before today. This is Sydney's 4th of her 4 events at today's MITCA Team State Tournament, her final event of the meet. She has placed first in each event so far. Sydney has run the 300-meter hurdles her entire track career at Frankenmuth, and with each meet, she's made improvements in her timing and technique. Sydney finishes second, with Megan finishing 15th and Sarah finishing 24th. Next up in the 800-meter run are Carissa Schur, Mackenzie Walter, and Carly Hammond.
During the MITCA meet, throughout the whole day, we were watching the bulletin board where they post the scores as each event is scored. We weren't blowing anyone away. These teams that participate in MITCA are good teams. Adrian Madison, Benzie Central, Shepherd, Napoleon, Ithaca, Grand Rapids West Catholic, they're all there participating against, and Frankenmuth has a target on our back. And we knew that going in because we were ranked high in the power rankings.
For freshman Carissa Schur, this is her second of 2 events. For sophomore Mackenzie Walter, this is her third of 4 events. For senior Carly Hammond, this is her third of 4 events today. At the 2012 MHSAA State Finals, where Frankenmuth took home the state title, Carly appeared in the first heat of the 800. In 9th place with only a half a lap to go, Carly suddenly began moving up from a quarter lap behind the leader to passing everyone including the leader, and won the heat in personal record time. This year, Carly worked her way back from a preseason injury until at Regionals she finished first, and has been dominating the event ever since. Carly finishes a close second, Carissa 18th, and Mackenzie 25th. The 200-meter run features freshman Lauren Woodard, junior Sarah Beulah, and senior Angie Ritter. Lauren filled in for Sarah in the 4x200 relay at the Bay City Western Invitational, setting a meet record. Sarah's goal is to finish right behind Angie at state finals next weekend. As Angie continues to raise the bar in women's track this year, a 1-2 finish next week in the 200 will be a tough nut to crack. For the team, having these 2 magnificent sprinters is inspirational, to say the least. Imagine what it must be like for other teams to look over there and see those 2 coming. Angie finishes first and sets another MITCA state record. Sarah is third and Lauren 13th. The 3,200-meter run is a tough and grueling race. 8 laps around the track, not for the faint of heart. Running for Frankenmuth today are seniors Emily Sievert and Melissa Olgren, and sophomore Mackenzie Walter. This is Emily and Melissa's only event at MITCA, and Kenzie's last of her 4 events today. Emily began her track season late because she was recovering from mononucleosis, while Melissa is asthmatic. And Kenzie is just plain worn out after 3 previous events today. This 3,200 squad is inspirational, giving their all for the team to earn the MITCA Team State Trophy and the first of the Double Crown Series. And it very well could be the points they earn here will be the difference in winning or not.
Melissa Algren, senior, ran 4 years for us. She's had asthma, and at MITCA, she ran the 3,200 race. She scored for us, but she had a hard time breathing in that race, but she never quit. She did really well. She represented all the girls that might not have qualified for MHSAA State, but were there to help the team win at MITCA.
Emily Sievert finishes third, Mackenzie Walter 21st, and Melissa Olgren 25th. Before our final track event of the day, let's check in at the field events. In the discus, we have sophomore Carrie Fromm, freshman Kylie Reinert, and junior Sarah Jansen. Carrie is the last in a line of great throwers from the Fromm-Reinbold family. The results have Carrie Fromm in 7th place, Kylie Reinert 14th, and Sarah Jansen 15th. In the shot put, sophomore Carrie Fromm, junior Sarah Jansen, and sophomore Megan Reinbold are stepping up to the challenge. Frankenmuth is fortunate to have a good solid throwing squad. It's Carrie Fromm in 5th place, Sarah Jansen in 6th, and Megan Reinbold in 20th. In the pole vault, we have freshman Megan Ehrig, sophomore Kelsey Kuyat, and junior Stephanie Lambeth for Frankenmuth. Stephanie has a private coach, and it is paying off big time. Stephanie takes 1st place and sets a new MITCA record with Kelsey in 3rd and Megan in 5th. At last, we come to the grand finale of the MITCA Team State Tournament, the 4x400-meter relay, the final event and last chance for teams to earn any points towards a victory. Senior Carly Hammond leads off for Frankenmuth, followed by senior Rebecca Barger, then senior Katie Pomreuter, and finally senior Angie Ritter serving as the squad's anchor. Frankenmuth's 4x400 squad is undefeated so far this season since Carly's return and hunting for another win here at MITCA. The team is looking fast today, really fast. The squad has been practicing their handoffs a lot and hasn't had a fumbled handoff all season. A single muffed handoff can easily cost a team the race, especially a close race. As Katie rounds the turn into the back half of the lap, the Adrian Madison runner seems tied with Katie. Now there's only a clean handoff to Angie left before the final home stretch. Angie takes the handoff and in 2 steps passes the runner from Adrian Madison, and then she begins to open up a lead on the second-place squad. Down the home stretch to the finish line, Angie has a big lead. The final few meters to the finish, and there's no doubt who wins this race. Angie is still accelerating as she storms across the finish line into the waiting arms of her teammates. According to the unofficial timing sign, this is by far the squad's fastest time so far this season. Angie looks exhausted as team members rush to congratulate her. It's been a long, hard day with no guarantees of success. Soon the official race results are announced over the PA. Frankenmuth wins the 4x400 relay with their best time of the season.
Our girls took 8 of 17 first places. For example, the 100 meters, Angie, she set a MITCA record with a 12.34. Sarah Beulah, she was third. In 200 meters, Angie set a MITCA record there. She broke her sister Kelsey's record. Kelsey was even there at the meet to watch. Sarah even set a PR that day in the 200. 29 personal records set that day. 4x1 relay, today the MITCA record was broken at 50.56, so this team would have broke our 38-year school record. 4x2 relay, they also set the MITCA record, and that old record was also held by a Frankenmuth team. That also set a school record. Stephanie in the pole vault, she vaulted 11.3, and that was a MITCA record.
But if you were here today, you obviously were on a really good track team. And this year's champion, the MITCA Division III Championship team for 2014, with a score of 957, Frankenmuth.
There you go.
You guys have a huge team. You get 30 medals.
Congratulations, Frankenmuth.
Well, we get 30 medals. There better be the 30 participants then.
With the MITCA win, we're halfway there to the Double Crown, and we're looking forward to getting the other half next week at MHSAA State Finals.
Coming up this week are the final 2 meets of the 2014 season. On Tuesday, May 27, 2014, there's the Thumb Meet of Champions. Then on Saturday, May 31st, the 2014 MHSAA Division III Finals, the big show, the last meet of the season, which is part 2 of the Double Crown State Championships. A chance to make history as the first Michigan track and field team ever to win both the MITCA team state title and the MHSAA state title in the same year, 3 times. Welcome to the 2014 Thumb Meet of Champions. This meet is the 4th in the series of 5 championship events of the 2014 outdoor track and field season. It's a cool wet day here in Caro, Michigan as we welcome elite high school track and field athletes from Michigan's Thumb region to compete for bronze, silver, or gold medals in each of the 17 track and field events. Only individuals can qualify for this meet of champions by being ranked in the top 8 of each event. There are no team awards presented here today. Only individuals are recognized. A final opportunity for these elite athletes to demonstrate their abilities before this year's MHSAA State Tournament season finale, coming up this weekend in Michigan.
Can you think of a better prelude to the MHSAA State Finals coming up on Saturday than having a meet such as this where the kids can have fun, Olympic style, keep their focus, go for that second part of the Double Crown.
Today's tournament begins with the formal introduction of the region's homecoming queens who will be presenting the bronze, silver, and gold awards to the top 3 performing athletes in each event today. Frankenmuth's Angie Ritter is among the homecoming queens introduced to the exuberant crowd wearing her track suit adorned with her queen's sash and tiara. That will be followed by the parade of athletes identified by their school's banners and finally the annual lighting of the torch by the previous year's athletes of the meet. Because the 2013 Thumb Meet of Champions was canceled due to dangerous weather conditions, this year's torch lighting will be performed by the athletes of the meet from the 2012 Thumb Meet of Champions. Frankenmuth's Olivia Shelton and Emily Wee were named co-female athletes of the meet in 2012 and are featured in this year's torch lighting ceremony. Meet officials have predicted that before too long, the rain will stop, the skies will clear, and we'll enjoy good weather for this year's Thumb Meet of Champions. First up is sophomore Carrie Fromm, competing today in both the discus and shot put events. Carrie is the last of a long line of excellent Frankenmuth throwers from the Fromm and Reinbold families.
Second place medal goes to Carrie Fromm of Frankenmuth.
Junior Stephanie Lambeth of Frankenmuth is a gymnast who has been improving meet after meet, setting record after record in the pole vault.
And with a vault of 10 feet 6 inches, Stephanie Lambeth of Frankenmuth. First place. Congratulations, ladies.
Frankenmuth senior Katie Pomreuter performs the long jump today, and this year she qualified for MHSAA State Finals in the event.
Congratulations, ladies.
Frankenmuth junior Sydney Bronner is on the hunt for a gold medal in the high jump, her first of 4 events today.
And first place medal, Sydney Bronner of Frankenmuth. Congratulations, ladies.
In her second event of today, junior Sydney Bronner is hoping for her second gold medal of today's meet. She has been dominating the 100-meter hurdles all season and won the event last weekend at the MITCA Team State Tournament. Along the way, she hopes to break the school record owned by Emily Wee of Frankenmuth.
And with a time of 15.49, Sydney Bronner of Frankenmuth. Congratulations, ladies.
For the 100-meter run, Frankenmuth is blessed with 2 of the top sprinters in the state with senior Angie Ritter and junior Sarah Beulah. Sarah has been having some hamstring issues but seems to be doing well.
And our gold medalist this evening, Angie Ritter of Frankenmuth. Congratulations, ladies.
Frankenmuth's 4x200-meter relay team is led off by Sydney Bronner, followed by KD Pomreuter, then Sarah Beulah, and anchored by Angie Ritter. The team is undefeated this season and has set many meet records this year. They're hoping to set another meet record today.
And with a time of 1 minute 44 seconds, Frankenmuth High School. First place medal. Congratulations, ladies. That time of 1 minute 44 is a meet record. Congratulations.
The 4x100-meter relay team representing Frankenmuth is led off by Rebecca Barger, then Katie Pomreuter, followed by Stephanie Lambeth, and anchored by Sarah Beulah. The team has set a couple of meet records so far and won first place at the MITCA Team State Tournament last weekend.
The silver medal this evening goes to the team from Frankenmuth.
Junior Sydney Bronner would tell you that the 300-meter hurdles is not her favorite event. Still, she's gotten better and better as the season progressed and will give it her best effort because she wants to earn her 4th gold medal in this event today.
And the gold with a time of 47.48 goes to Sydney Bronner of Frankenmuth. Congratulations, Delta.
Frankenmuth senior Larry Hammond got off to a slow start this season due to an off-season training injury. But on Saturday, May 17th, Carly proved she was back by winning regionals in the 800-meter run by a large margin, then won the TVC East League Championship while setting the league record in the 800. Then, last weekend, she placed second at MITCA Team State.
And with a time of 2 minutes 22 seconds, first place medal goes to Larry Hammond of Frankenmuth.
Frankenmuth senior Angie Ritter and junior Sarah Beulah are going for a 1-2 finish in the 200-meter run at MHSAA State this weekend. And Angie will be gunning for her sister Kelsey's record in the 200 at state finals. So today's 200-meter run is setting up as a rehearsal for this weekend's state tournament for Angie and Sarah. These girls could each be the #1 sprinter on any other team in the state.
That's more like it. Second place goes to Sarah Beulah of Frankenmuth. And the gold medal with a time of 25.85 seconds goes to Angie Ritter of Frankenmuth. Congratulations, ladies.
Senior Emily Sievert has been a real inspiration for her team. In the off-season, Emily was diagnosed with mononucleosis, robbing her of her strength but not her determination. She set her season's goal to qualify for MHSAA State Finals at Regionals. Emily won Regionals, and the team and staff couldn't be more proud.
And third place medal goes to Emily Sievert of Frankenmuth.
The final event of today's Thumb Meet of Champions is at hand. The 4x400 meter relay. Frankenmuth's 4x400 meter relay team is led off by senior Larry Hammond, followed by senior Rebecca Barger, then senior KD Palm Reuter, and anchored by senior Angie Ritter. The team seems unstoppable and has dominated every meet since regionals. At the conclusion of this event, the male and female athletes of the meet for 2014 will be named.
And with a time of 4 minutes 11 seconds, the first place medal goes to Team Frankenmuth. The 2014 female athlete of the meet is Sydney Bronner of Frankenmuth High School. She placed first place in high jump, first place in the 100 hurdles, first place in the 300 hurdles, and first place in the 4x200 relay team, which was a meet record this evening. Congratulations, Sydney.
It seems that every meet this season this team was breaking new ground, going where no one has gone before. And today's Thumb Meet of Champions was no exception. This 2014 edition of the Frankenmuth Lady Eagles has amassed the highest medal count ever, with 16 medal-winning performances and a meet record in the 4x200 meter relay. That breaks down to 9 gold, 4 silver, and 3 bronze, surpassing the 2010 Lady Eagles Thumb Meet of Champions total of 12 medals. With only the MHSAA Division III state tournament remaining, this team is on track to make history. Welcome to the big show, the 2014 MHSAA Division III Track and Field State Finals. The final meet of the 2014 outdoor track and field season in the second crown of the 2014 Double Crown tournaments. We've got huge crowds already here today at Comstock Park High School's Panther Stadium. It's Saturday morning, May 31st, and today's forecast is for temperatures into the high 80s to low 90s with no precipitation. Mostly clear skies and low humidity with no wind will make for a very hot and challenging day of state finals competition. After getting the team settled in, the 4x800 meter relay is the first event of the meet. The Frankenmuth girls have no entry in that event, which means no opportunity for points. At that same time, the field events are starting, away from the main track. Following the 4x800 meter relay are prelims for the sprint races, including the 100 meter sprint, the 100 meter hurdles, and the 200 meter sprint. After those prelims, there'll be a break, the national anthem, and then the finals will begin. Starting the day for Frankenmuth are sprinters Angie Ritter and Sarah Beulah in the 100 meter sprint prelims. Angie is seated first and Sarah is seated sixth coming in, clearly demonstrating the wisdom of moving Angie into the 100 meters at the start of her senior season. The goal is to get both Angie and Sarah into the 100 meter finals. 2 entries in the 100 meter finals would be fantastic. Angie finishes the 100 meter prelims first and Sarah sixth. A great start for the team. Immediately following the 100 meter sprint prelims are the 100 meter hurdle prelims featuring junior Sydney Bronner. Inspired by Angie's and Sarah's performances, she has no problems clearing the hurdles, taking the number 2 seed into the hurdle finals. Overcoming issues that plagued her in her previous 2 appearances at state finals, Sydney will focus on speed for her finals run. But wait, there's more. In the 200 meter run prelims, Angie and Sarah have shocked the crowd with an awesome 1-2 finish for Frankenmuth, with Sarah running a personal record time of 25.88 seconds, only 0.82 of a second behind Angie. Made even more impressive because Sarah was seated 7th coming into the prelims. As the jaw-dropping results of the 200 meter prelims are posted, the question on everyone's mind, can they do it again in the finals later in the day? At the same time the track prelims are taking place, the field events have begun at locations away from the track with multiple field events happening simultaneously. And the Frankenmuth Lady Eagles have qualifiers in each of those events as well. In the shot put, Frankenmuth has sophomore Carrie Fromm and junior Sarah Jansen seeded 8th and 18th respectively. In the discus, Carrie Fromm is seeded 7th. Junior Stephanie Lambeth comes in as the number 2 seed in the pole vault, and junior Sydney Bronner comes in as the number 1 seed in the high jump. Finally, in the long jump, Stephanie Lambeth is seeded 19th and senior Katie Pomreuter is seeded 23rd. This morning's prelims are finished and the field events will continue after the break. Let's take a moment to recap the prelim results. The goal of placing both Angie and Sarah into the 100-meter finals is achieved as Angie takes a number 1 seed and Sarah a number 6 seed into the finals. Sydney Bronner finished second in the 100-meter hurdle prelims, taking a number 2 seed into the finals. Finally, in the 200-meter prelims, Angie and Sarah sweep first and second place in the 200 prelims, taking number 1 and number 2 seeds into the finals. Frankenmuth arrived here today with attitude, something to prove. Our first event this afternoon is the 100-meter hurdle finals featuring Frankenmuth's number 2 seed Sydney Bronner. We spoke with Sydney about her family's background in athletics and the events she's competing in today.
My dad went to Frankenmuth High School, and he was a very good athlete back then. In track, he still holds the Frankenmuth High School record in the 100-meter hurdles. He shares it, but he still holds it for about 35 years now. My mom is from Southern Illinois. She was also an athlete. She did cheerleading. She liked to brag about her backflips. I played volleyball, basketball, and track, and ran track in grade school. As a freshman, I did the 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, the 4x2 relay, and high jump. The 4x2 relay, I had to fight to get on the spot as a freshman because there were 2 other very strong runners that wanted it too. And then my sophomore year, I decided to focus more on just track and volleyball. The whole hurdling, learning how to do hurdles was a big thing. Like my freshman year, it was a whole new game changer for me. I was a part of the 4x200 relay, being able to run with a couple of the best sprinters that have came through Frankenmuth High School, Emily Lee, Olivia Shelton, and Angie. I was overwhelmed.
Track finals begin with the 100-meter hurdle finals. Feeling confident after her successful prelims run, Sydney really turns up the heat for the finals. Sydney wins the 100-meter hurdles and Frankenmuth gets their first state champion of the day. Let's see that finish again. By 500ths of a second, she wins the race. Next up is the 100-meter sprint featuring Frankenmuth's Angie Ritter and Sarah Beulah. But first, Angie talks about her start in track, her big sister Kelsey, her father's near-fatal aneurysm, and what she thinks about when she's on the starting blocks.
I feel like my first memory would have to be way back in 5th grade when I started running in grade school. Way back then I was running times of what people in high school run. She just started running the same time I did. We did the same things. She did soccer, I did soccer. She did track, I did track. We did all the same sports and stuff. I feel like she was just more of a role model. I just wanted to be like her. He was such a fighter throughout that whole thing. I definitely he did motivate me to run for him. When I'm in the blocks, I always say a prayer, and then I just think about the end of the race, and just always I hear my parents up in the stands and my grandparents, and I'm just thinking about I want to make everyone proud.
Angie Ritter blasts off like a rocket, leaving everyone in her dust, winning the 100-meter sprint finals with Sarah placing 5th and earning the 2nd state champion title of the day for Frankenmuth. Let's see that stunning finish again. Seeing a runner totally dominate a sprint race like this is unheard of, and something this crowd will never forget. And for any team to have 2 members reach all-state status in the 100-meter state finals is historic. Next up on today's schedule is the much-anticipated 4x200-meter relay. Frankenmuth's number 1 seeded relay team is led off by Sydney Bronner. followed by Katie Palmreuter, then Sarah Beulah, and anchored by Angie Ritter. This squad is undefeated this season, setting many meet records along the way, including a new state record during last weekend's MITCA Team State Tournament. Add to that Angie and Sarah's 1-2 finish in the 200-meter prelims today, and expectations are high that the current MHSAA State relay record is about to fall. Senior Katie Palmreuter talks about her decision to run track and her role on the team.
Well, I think it all started in like 5th grade. I did track at St. Lawrence, and that's kind of when I found out that I have like talent, I guess, to be fast, and like I really enjoyed doing it, but I also enjoyed doing soccer at the same time. So it was like hard. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I came to high school. So my first 2 years, I kind of went with soccer because I knew my dad liked watching me do soccer. But then when I became a junior, I decided that I wasn't that great at soccer anymore, and all my friends are on the track team. So I thought I would just try it out and get back into it again. And I really wanted to be part of a team that could get me somewhere and like have to like be able to remember it for like the rest of my life.
The gun goes off and the 4x200 meter relay has begun. No false starts, no disqualifications. And Frankenmuth's leadoff runner Sydney Bronner is off to a great start. There are just so many things that can go wrong during a relay. All the usual challenges faced by runners plus 3 critical baton exchanges that must go perfectly. Things such as dropped batons or late exchanges, or even a false start disqualification, which happened at Frankenmuth's home meet this season and resulted in the team's only defeat of the year. All those things must take place perfectly in order to win this event. But this squad will not be satisfied just winning. These ladies, this team, this year, are looking for the Division III MHSAA all-time state record in this relay. So not only must things go perfectly, they must be executed better than anyone has executed them before. As the race continues, things are looking perfect for the record-setting squad. Only a week ago, these ladies set the all-time record at MITCA Team State, and today the stage is set for another record-breaking run. As Sarah rounds the track, Frankenmuth has built up a sizable lead on second-seeded Pewamo, Westphalia. And as Angie receives the final exchange, she turns up the heat and expands her lead coming down the straightaway to the finish line. Frankenmuth wins the relay, but is it enough for a new MHSAA record? We'll have to wait for the official announcement. One thing is for sure. This team has attitude, and they have something to prove.
In 4th place, from Toronto, Westphalia, 50.83. In 3rd place, Kylie Mount from Mason County Central, 15.66. In 2nd place, Kylie Hicks from Boyne City, 15.13. And your girls 100-meter hurdle champion in Division III,
Sydney Bronner.
Sydney Bronner from Frankenmuth, 15.08.
What's that? How are we doing so far, ladies?
It's hot, really hot.
Up next is the 4x100 meter relay with Frankenmuth seeded number 2 coming in. As the squad prepares for their run, Rebecca Barger talks about her track and field career.
In middle school, I tried track when I was in 7th grade, and I loved it. I did like going fast. And so 7th and 8th grade, I was in track. And then high school, I did long jump. I did that in high school as well. And I did the 100, and then I did the 4x1 relay. I loved my freshman year in high school track. I was just wowed by the talent already on the team, the Emily Wees and the Olivia Sheltons, who were just so fast. And I never imagined myself being up to that level. My sophomore year, I got put in the relays, and that was incredible to run with those girls. My junior, senior year, I started being able to make it to the later heats and regionals and going to states.
The gun goes off and Rebecca Barger is off to a fast start. This is a very fast event, 100 meters at a time with absolutely zero margin for error. This will be a fight to the finish for the number 2 seeded Frankenmuth squad against the number 1 seeded Pewamo Westphalia squad. As you would expect, it's neck and neck going through the exchanges with the slightest hesitation the difference between first and second place. It's tough to tell who is in the lead because of the stagger between the lanes, but it looks like Frankenmuth might have a slight edge coming into the final exchange. Coming down the stretch, it's a battle for the lead between Kinsey Weber of Pewamo Westphalia and Sarah Beulah for Frankenmuth. As the girls approach the finish line, Kinsey turns up the heat with a sudden burst and crosses the line 0.2 of a second before Sarah and Pewamo Westphalia holds on for their first head-to-head win against Frankenmuth today. We turn our attention to the awards podium where the pole vault awards and 4x200 meter relay awards are about to take place. First, let's hear from Stephanie Lambeth about her journey from gymnastics to pole vault and track.
It was 2nd grade. I just kept talking to my grandma, and I was like, I want to do gymnastics. And they put me in it at Gym Jesters in Saginaw, and I started there, and I really liked it. I just enjoyed being there. I just loved it. I got to level 9, and there's 10 levels, and level 10's usually college level. I didn't continue to level 10 because pole vault was my choice for college. I did track all through middle school. I didn't do pole vault. I did high jump, sometimes sprints. And then Coach Drake came up to me a couple times saying, you know, I got a camp you should try out. You should just try pole vault. And I decided, you know, I'm just gonna try track. I'm gonna try to do it. My sophomore year, I really wanted to get the school record. And one meet, I think it was MITCA, I tied the school record with 10 feet. And then junior year came, and I was just doing way better. I broke the school record, meet after meet. I cleared 11.6, which was a really good height, I thought. And I started running, and I was actually pretty fast.
In 4th place, from Pewamo Westphalia, 10.6. In 3rd place, Stephanie Lambeth from Frankenmuth, 10.6. In 2nd place, Casey Staley from Farwell, 11.03. And your girls pole vault champion in Division 3, Kinsey Weber from Pewamo Westphalia, 11.06. Congratulations to this year's medal.
Next are the 4x200 meter relay awards, but first Sarah Beulah talks about her journey from gymnastics to running in college.
I was a gymnast, and it didn't it got time consuming, so I knew I wanted to start middle school sports. So I started doing volleyball, and then I did middle school track. I think it was junior year, I realized that I really liked track and like how it was going. So I think that's when I decided that I wanted to try to run in college. So then that kind of pushed me junior and senior year to like push myself really hard. Senior year, I had a lot of hamstring problems. I had, actually at States, I went to the trainer and she told me that I wasn't even supposed to be running that day, but I knew I would regret it if I didn't run.
And your girls 4x200 meter relay champion in Division 3 with Caro, Sydney Browner, Angie Ritter, and Hollywood is Frankenmuth with a time of 1:41.17.
Next up is Sydney Bronner's final event of the day, the 300-meter hurdles. Sydney is seated third coming in, but first an update from Coach Snyder.
Put myself in Scott Werner's shoes, the Claremont Valley coach. His jaw just had to be on the ground. He said he was bringing a phenomenal team into this meet. He did the points too. He does points all the time. He knows where he had to be. At that point, I think they knew that they probably had to win everything else from that point forward to even have a chance.
After a long and successful day, Sydney Bronner finishes the 300-meter hurdles in third place for Team Frankenmuth. Only 4 more events to go, with the next event the 800-meter run featuring 7th-seeded Larry Hammond. We join Carly as she talks about her track career running the 800 and 4x400 relay and the determination the team brings to this year's state finals.
With, older siblings, you always want to be like them. You always want to perpetuate what they're like, because they're pretty much your idol. It wasn't so much like the sport that I wanted to follow in her footsteps in. It was that pride in what you can do, knowing that, you did that by yourself. And you made yourself do that. You pushed yourself when it counted, when it mattered. So I think I started developing a really good relationship with 800s and also the people who ran the 800s, not just on my team, but on everybody else's team. I was put as the backup of a backup of a backup in the 4x400 meter relay. And I remember being so honored to be there. And it was this big thing to be in the 4x400 meter relay. I think just starting off that season, the very first practice, before we ever went out onto the field, I think there were quite a few girls who had the determination and who had the experience, who put their foot on the ground and said, this is the year that we're gonna win.
The 800-meter run is not the most popular running event. It's too much distance, 2 laps around the 400-meter track for most sprinters, and requires the long-distance stamina of a distance runner to finish strong. Carly's 4 years of cross-country, in which she made state finals each year, gives her the distance skills. But being a good sprinter requires a different set of skills and more muscle mass than distance running. So following her recovery from her preseason injury, she began competing in some 200-meter and 400-meter sprints to build up her speed and lower her times in the 800 and the 4x400-meter relay. It seems to have worked, given her dominance in the 800 meters since regionals. She set the all-time league record in the 800 this year and followed up with a runner-up finish at last week's MITCA Team State tournament. At this point, she's just a second off the school record, and Coach Snyder is hoping she'll own that record following her performance in today's finals. Carly has earned the reputation of being a fierce competitor and having a strong kick at the end of the race. That reputation will be put to the test as she rounds the final turn and heads down the straightaway to the finish line. In sixth place, coming to the finish, Carly lunges towards the finish line and passes two runners just as she crosses the line. Let's see that again. Carly finishes in fourth place, 3 spots better than her seed. The next event is the 200-meter sprint finals. In the prelims, Frankenmuth shocked the crowd by claiming the top 2 seeds going into the finals. Angie Ritter placed first and Sarah Beulah, running a personal record time, placed second. Later on, as the journalists and photographers awaited the announcement of the start of the 200-meter finals, all were surprised and shocked to suddenly see the runners coming down the straightaway heading towards the finish line. No one was in place or ready for photos or video. Therefore, none exist of the race or the finish. No explanation was offered. We offer up the footage of the combined prelims as a substitute for the actual race, since the Frankenmuth 1-2 finish was the same, and pick up our coverage immediately following the finals race.
Angie came in first, Sarah came in second.
Angie and Sarah have just finished coming in first and second. This is crazy. This just doesn't happen. To have 2 sprinters of this magnitude on one team, much less a small school Division III team. This is so special. Congratulations to Angie and Sarah. Congratulations to Frankenmuth. History has been made, and there is talk that Angie has set a new MHSAA state record in the 200 meters. We'll have to wait for the official announcement to be sure. Once again, this team has shown they came in having something to prove, and they are indeed proving it. Meanwhile, Sydney Bronner has accepted 2 additional awards. First, Sydney claims her All-State Award for her third-place finish in the 300-meter hurdles, followed by her state champion award in the high jump. Sydney came and seated first in the high jump, but kept going and going until her jump of 5 feet 6 inches tied her for the D3 state record. Congratulations to Sydney, well done. Up next is the 3,200-meter run. The infield here has reached temperatures of 100 degrees plus today, and this will be a grueling race. 8 laps around the 400-meter track. Representing Frankenmuth is Emily Sievert, who made it her goal to make it into the MHSAA State Finals earlier at Regionals. She has had a tough time last year and this year with her health, all the while being determined to reach her goals as an athlete. She took over the top of the record board in cross country her senior year, running over 100 miles a week. She has truly been an inspiration to this team. Here's Emily to talk about the challenges she has faced.
Mom and Dad both ran in high school and in college. Been a big part of growing up, just having that around us. I have 2 older siblings and a younger sibling. They've all run at some point. My brother also ran on the Frankenmuth track and cross country team, and he went on to run in college too, and he was just a phenomenal runner. It turned out in my soccer career, the short-lived one that it was, I got a concussion in the season, and that had been my 3rd concussion I had had, because earlier I'd gotten some in grade school. So then I got some headgear and went back out to play more soccer and got another concussion anyways. And that was number 4. That would probably be the end of my contact sport career. And so then my sophomore year was when I joined cross country for the first time. In the middle of running, and I remember thinking I was on track for a PR, and I was really excited, and we were halfway through the race, and I was going up a hill, and I'm not sure if I blacked out first and then tripped, or if I tripped and then blacked out, but I fell and hit my head, and suddenly cross country was also a contact sport. So then I did a little bit of winter track, and then moving into the spring, I did outdoor track. And that was when I first got mono. I wanted to run, and I was in the 2-mile and the long distance events, and I wanted to be on a relay, and I just got really sick. The fall of my sophomore year, I found out my dad had Parkinson's. He was diagnosed, and he was probably 48 at the time, roughly, and so it was really early for that to start appearing, and we had been wondering what was going on with him for several years prior to this. One of the reasons I wanted to run then was because it was when he couldn't run, and that was kind of a boost for me when I would feel down or feel like didn't want to run that day. It was just, there are people who can't run that really wish they could be running.
Emily Sievert wraps up her high school running career with a 15th place finish in the 3,200-meter run at MHSAA State Finals. 8 places better than her 23rd seed coming in. And her family, coaches, and teammates couldn't be more proud. Way to go, Emily. While the 3,200-meter run was taking place, awards were presented for the discus event. Here is Frankenmuth thrower Carrie Fromm discussing her family's shot put and discus tradition.
For me, it was kind of just a no-brainer. Just, go out for the track team, go out to be a thrower or something like that, because I'd been watching my siblings, obviously, since I was much younger. And it started with my oldest sister, Renee, being a thrower, and then my next oldest, Ashley, and then Michael. And then once I transitioned in, it just, follow where my family goes. My mom was our throws coach at Emmanuel. And so she basically taught me how to throw shot put. We didn't throw discus at that time. And then obviously I, learned visually from my siblings, just watching them throw. It just kind of caught on in my brain how to do it. My body kind of caught on to it. I was the youngest one on the 2014 team that made it to states because I was a sophomore at that time. I was proud to be a part of the 2014 team that made it to states. Obviously, because sophomores don't make it very often, especially in discus, because it's not a very easy thing to do.
Sophomore Carrie Fromm finishes in 8th place in the discus, dropping 1 place from her 7th seed coming in. She receives her first All-State certificate and scores a point for the team, securing her place in a long family tradition. Congratulations, Carrie. The gun goes off, and senior Larry Hammond runs the first leg of the 4x400-meter relay for the Frankenmuth team. The Frankenmuth squad is seeded number 1 coming in. There are rumors that at least one other team, Pewamo Westphalia, maybe others, may have shuffled their running order to run their fastest runner first. Usually the last runner, the anchor, is the fastest of the squad. The idea of moving the anchor into the first spot is to open a big lead that they hope will give them a chance to hold out for a victory, and this the final event of today's state finals. It's generally agreed that it's easier to hold an existing lead rather than expecting the anchor runner to make up the distance on the final lap. Carly finishes her opening lap and hands off to Rebecca Barger. Becca is a powerful sprinter and far better than most of the second runners in this relay. It sure looks like the strategy is paying off for Pewamo, as they have indeed opened up a huge lead in the first lap. Frankenmuth seems to be closing the distance on the lead runner somewhat as Becca continues her portion of the relay. It's tough to tell. So much chaos around the handoffs in a tight race is confusing to those watching the finish line. Focusing instead on the order of the runners after the handoffs is a better way to determine the placement of the teams throughout the relay. Rebecca Barger hands off to fellow senior Katie Pomeroyder, and it appears that some distance has been closed on the other runners. Pewamo Westphalia still has a substantial lead on the field, however. For now, the Frankenmuth squad's fate lies in the hands of their third runner, Katie Pomeroyder, and this her fourth event of the day. Katie seems to be struggling a bit in trying to close the distance ahead of her. Pewamo's lead seems to be expanding as the third runners continue around the 400-meter track. For all of the relay teams, this is the final chance to earn any points for their teams in today's state tournament, and depending on the point totals so far, could decide the ultimate victor. It appears that Frankenmuth is now in 5th or 6th place in the relay, with Pewamo Westphalia maintaining their lead. Katie pushes forward as she prepares for the final handoff of the race to fellow senior Angie Ritter. Angie Ritter is Frankenmuth's anchor for good reason. As Angie receives the handoff, she rockets ahead and soon passes everyone, except the Pewamo Westphalia runner in the lead. But the distance Angie has to close within a half lap is daunting. Pewamo's lead expanded quite a bit during the previous lap, and now that lead seems too much to close with less than a half lap remaining. There's no doubt Angie is quickly gaining on the leader as they round the back of the track. Angie refuses to give up, and she is close to within 3 seconds of Pewamo Westphalia as they cross the finish line and win the 4x400-meter relay, with Frankenmuth a close second thanks to Angie's superb effort in the final lap. Will this victory over Frankenmuth's relay squad give Pewamo Westphalia the points they need for a state championship? That announcement will happen in a few minutes, but for now, it's anyone's guess. Before announcing the final team results, there are first the 800-meter awards, then the 4x400-meter relay awards.
Caitlin Hutchinson from Shepherd's, 2:20.15. In 4th place, Carly Hammond from Frankenmuth, 2:20.05.
Awesome, Carly!
In 3rd place, Annie Santa from Bath, 2:19.52. In 2nd place, Emma Dalton from Granville Calvin Christian with a time of 2:17.
Honey Badger don't care.
And her girls 800-meter run champion in Division 3 from Manistee with a time of 2:11.4. Annie Fuller. Congratulations to this year's medalist. Frankenmuth with a time of 4:04.59. And your girls 4x400-meter relay champion in Division 3, Brenda Worth, Bessie Aaron, Tammy Noker, and Marissa Worth from Pewamo Westphalia.
A huge collective sigh of relief describes the mood here at the 2014 MHSAA D3 State Finals following the final event awards of the day. As the sun is sinking slowly behind the trees and temperatures are finally beginning to drop, the bleachers are emptying quickly. The 133 teams who competed today are gathering their equipment and heading slowly towards their buses. For the teams represented here, there is nothing more to be done save the trip home. It is becoming clear to all that for the D3 girls, the truly extraordinary performances presented by both Pewamo Westphalia and Frankenmuth leaves everyone to conclude that the championship will be won by one of those two teams. It was obvious from the first two events this afternoon and all through the day that the Frankenmuth team was driven. They arrived today with something to prove. Last year's fourth-place finish here had left a mark on their team. Anyway, the only concern right now is who will win this championship. The tension is growing as the wait continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you've been waiting for. The medal presentation for the team. We would like to announce the girls first. With 72 points, winning the finalist is Pewamo Westphalia.
72 points? Let's be clear on this. You can count almost on one hand, in the entire history of Michigan track and field, how many times a team scored at least 72 points and did not win. And of those times, it was a very close second place. 72 points at MHSAA State is phenomenal, and today that amounts to 39 points over the third-place team's score of 33 points. But here on the infield, none of that is of any concern to Frankenmuth. Even before their score is announced, the Frankenmuth team now knows they have made history by winning the 2014 D3 state crown and becoming the only team in Michigan history to win the Double Crown 3 times. Everyone's attention is focused on the pending announcement of this year's MHSAA D3 Girls State Track and Field Champion. Even though only 10 girls qualified for MHSAA State, Frankenmuth's coaching staff has the entire team present and in uniform. This is a historic victory to be shared by all.
Now, with 96 points for Division III champions, Frankenmuth.
96 points. That's not even close. A mind-boggling 24-point victory over second-place Pewamo Westphalia. Once again at the most opportune time, this extraordinary Frankenmuth team has accepted the challenge and produced a dominating performance, besting all 133 teams who appeared here today. It will take some time and a lot of research to figure out exactly where this 2014 team fits into Michigan's track and field history. But for now, a celebration focusing on today's victory is the only order of business. The 2014 Michigan Outdoor Track and Field season has seen Frankenmuth's Division III Lady Eagles reach the absolute pinnacle of success for a high school track and field team. Along the way, these ladies have broken new ground, set many new records, and achieved milestones never before achieved in women's high school track and field in Michigan. They have become the first and only team to win the Double Crown 3 times. In addition, a week after winning their third Double Crown, Angie Ritter is named MITCA's Miss Track and Field, an annual award given to the top female track and field athlete in the state, regardless of division. And for the first time in the team's history, seniors Angie Ritter and Larry Hammond will represent the state of Michigan in the Midwest Meet of Champions, an annual all-senior postseason track and field championship featuring the top senior track and field athletes from Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, coming up on Saturday, June 14th at Denison University in Granville, Ohio. Last year in 2013, Frankenmuth senior Ashley Fromm became the first Lady Eagles senior invited to represent the state, but had a scheduling conflict and couldn't attend.
Now tell us what you're doing. What event? There you go. Thank you, ladies.
So stay tuned. This season is not yet over. There's more history yet to be made, including determining this 2014 team's place in Michigan track and field history. It's Saturday, June 14th, 2014, and we're at Denison University in Granville, Ohio, where the Midwest Meet of Champions, the best of the Midwest, will welcome their first Frankenmuth ladies ever. Angie Ritter and Larry Hammond from the Division III MITCA Team State and MHSAA State champion Frankenmuth track and field team. Today, Carly will compete in the 4x800-meter relay and Angie in the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints and the 4x200-meter relay. This championship meet features the top high school seniors from Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio competing head-to-head for both individual and team honors. Let's welcome the officials, then Team Indiana, Team Ohio, and Team Michigan.
The 300-meter hurdle, and also team captain Ronnie Johnson, who is the state champion in the long jump, and also the 4x100-meter relay. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Indiana, Granville native, and the 200-meter state champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Ohio. Starting on the track, ladies and gentlemen, the team from the state of Michigan. Michigan team is led on the track today by Angie Ritter, who is the state champion in the 100 and 200-meter dash, and is also the state record holder at those distances, and by Robert Elmo, who is the team captain and a 7-foot high jumper. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Michigan.
We join our first event already in progress. The 4x800-meter relay features Frankenmuth's Larry Hammond as the third runner for Team Michigan. As Carly receives the handoff, both teams Indiana and Ohio have built up a substantial lead on Team Michigan. Carly has her work cut out for her to close that gap during her 2 laps. Carly ran the 4x800-meter relay at MITCA Team State for Frankenmuth, but unlike MITCA, this is her only event today, so she can give it all she has. By the time she completes her second lap, Carly has closed the distance on the front-running teams to only a few seconds. Now it's up to the Team Michigan anchor to finish the job. By the time Team Michigan's fourth runner turns the final corner, Team Ohio has expanded their lead and is crossing the finish line with Team Indiana close behind. It will be a third-place bronze medal for Team Michigan. Next up, Frankenmuth's Angie Ritter runs in the 100-meter sprint for Team Michigan. Everyone on Team Michigan is anxious to see how their captain, Ms. Michigan Track and Field, will fare against the best of the Midwest in the 100 meters, and Angie's off to a great start. Angie wins it, only 1/100th of a second slower than her state record time. And a couple of the Team Ohio girls are not happy. The dumbfounded Ohio crowd is quiet as Angie's shocked Michigan teammates congratulate her. We need to see that one more time. Those that made the trip from Frankenmuth are excited and thrilled, but not at all surprised about Angie's 100-meter victory. She faced her toughest race ever, with grace, humility, determination, and definitely speed. A whole lot of speed. Next up, Angie appears in the 4x200-meter relay. The 4x200-meter relay begins and Team Michigan is off to a good start. Angie is the second runner and with a good handoff should have a slight lead. Angie receives the handoff and heads around the far corner of the track. As she rounds the corner, she has a slight lead over Ohio heading into the second handoff. Indiana is running behind the leaders. Down the straightaway, and Angie is neck and neck with Ohio as the second handoff is made, and both Michigan and Ohio are a bit sloppy on the handoff, with Michigan coming out with a slight edge. Heading towards the third and final handoff, it's Michigan and Ohio still neck and neck. Michigan has some trouble with the third handoff and falls behind Ohio. Rounding the corner and heading down the straightaway, it's Ohio 2 steps ahead of Michigan. Ohio crosses the finish still 2 steps ahead, with Michigan second and Indiana third. So it'll be gold for Ohio, silver for Team Michigan, and bronze for Indiana. That third handoff seemed to make the difference for Michigan. It's the 200-meter sprint and Angie's final event of her high school career. It looks like a really fast group of ladies running the 200 meters today. Coming down the straightaway, it's going to be a close finish between Angie in lane 6 and the Ohio runner in lane 8. Angie finishes with a close second place while setting a new personal record of 24.66 seconds in the event. So the 2014 season officially ends with Ohio winning the team championship, Michigan placing second and Indiana third. An unexpected surprise having one more run as high school seniors for Angie and Carly. Another first ever achievement for this extraordinary team. Next, we'll look at this 2014 team's place in Michigan track and field history. Immediately after the last event at the 2014 D3 MHSAA Finals, in the officials' tent located in the middle of the track, 2 ladies were busy making copies at the copy machine, when one lady said to the other,
"That must be one of the highest scores ever."
That comment was overheard, and weeks later that comment prompted an examination of the MHSAA archives to find out if in fact those ladies were referring to Frankenmuth's historic winning score of 96. Frankenmuth's 2014 score of 96, even 10 years later, remains the 3rd highest score ever received in the history of MHSAA women's track and field in any division. It remains the highest score ever in Divisions 2, 3, and 4. Only one team ever, Division 1 Ann Arbor Pioneer, achieved a higher score, twice, a 97 in 2002 and a 108 in 2007. Upon close examination, the 2007 score can be attributed to an obviously weak field of competitors that year, and Pioneer only tied 1 meet record in the process. Many consider Ann Arbor Pioneer's 2002 team to be Michigan's best high school women's track and field team of all time. Let's take a closer look at Ann Arbor Pioneer's 2002 97-point performance. That year, they set the most meet records ever of any women's team at any MHSAA state tournament. In total, they set 4 meet records, and in the process, they totaled 14 all-state performances by team members. A truly historic performance. In 2014, the Frankenmuth ladies equaled Ann Arbor Pioneer's 4 meet records total, while Frankenmuth team members produced 13 all-state performances, with runner-up Pewamo Westphalia scoring a whopping 72 points, one of the highest second-place scores ever. And 10 years later, those records still stand. Add to that total the 5 meet records set while winning the MITCA Team State Tournament only a week earlier, and you have Frankenmuth's 2014 team achieving a total of 9 state-level records. Additionally, Ann Arbor Pioneer never won a MITCA Team State Championship. They never won the Double Crown. Now consider this. Earlier in the season at Frankenmuth's Marcet Invitational, both the Pewamo Westphalia and Frankenmuth ladies defeated all 5 Division I schools. And later at the Bay City Western Invitational, Frankenmuth defeated everyone, including the 12 Division I schools. Some for the second time. The 2014 Lady Eagles became the only women's track and field team in Michigan history to win the Double Crown 3 times. And the 2014 Lady Eagles were named the #1 women's high school track and field team in the state, across all divisions, by the Saginaw News. There is no doubt whatsoever that the 2014 Frankenmuth women's track and field team, led by the 2014 Miss Track and Field, Angie Ritter, remains unequaled. in both individual and team accomplishments in the history of Michigan high school track and field. Congratulations to Frankenmuth's historic 2014 team members and coaching staff for proving yourselves worthy of a special place at the top of Michigan track and field history.